for those on YouTube, you will see I've got two people that you've not seen before on the podcast. Now, one of these people is a new member of the TGP, so I'm going to introduce him first. Callum, how are you, and how is it to be a part of the TGP?
Yeah, hey guys. It's an honour. Looking forward to working with Adam and the lads, and looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comments section of YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be nice and kind to you, mate. You know, wrestling fans normally are nice, kind people, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've also got Matt, the owner of KCW. Matt, how are you today?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Excited to talk some wrestling. Recording this midweek, but I'm going to pretend that this is a Friday because it's the Friday feast. It's not going to come out till Friday, so let's all pretend it's Friday and let's get a beer on, shall we?
Yeah, well, yeah, I should have done actually, yeah, but I didn't. So.
I can do a segment at some point. I like a beer drinking segment where you take like 30 seconds out of the pod, you know, shot a beer and then get back on it. So, Matt, yeah, well, maybe the next episode, we'll see. Matt, so for anyone that doesn't know about KCW, I know where have they been, you know, they're obviously not watching wrestling, but for anyone that doesn't know about it too much, do you want to tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit more about it?
Okay. Yeah. Well, Kumite Combat Wrestling, KCW. Most people just call it Kumite or whatever, or Kumite. Some people call it, but it's not Kumite. It's Kumite. But yeah, we are primarily a deathmatch wrestling company. We started out as a no ring, like we did a couple of shows with no ring, and then after that we got a ring, and it sort of accidentally got quite popular quite quickly. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Really, it's a wild wrestling extravaganza. And we do loads of stupid shit, and that's probably why people know who we are. Well, that's exactly why people know who we are.
Anything to get yourself noticed, mate, honestly.
Callum, as long as you're being filmed, yeah.
Yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity, right? You know.
Yeah.
Callum, you've obviously been to a few shows in that. What's it like going to the shows? What's the atmosphere like?
Mind blowing. You get the guys literally risking it all for our entertainment, and then the pop from the fans is just unreal, absolutely unreal. I've been a big fan, and I've been to pretty much every show. I think I've missed two, but every other show I've been to, and I'm even going to the upcoming one because it's just a great day out. Great atmosphere, great people, and just really talented wrestlers. Like really, really good.
Oh, nice one. Yeah.
It's a glowing reference. He has been talking about this all week. He's been really excited.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you know, I just sometimes I get a bit sort of. It's not that we don't know how to take compliments. Sometimes I think we just sort of we don't really realise why people are talking to us. Sometimes, but that's that's all cool. I'm just glad that people enjoy it because that's why we do it. So it's evident that people do enjoy it, which is the main thing. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've got a few questions. So basically, what were your early inspirations in wrestling? So growing up, who really caught your eye, and what match really cemented it for your love for wrestling?
Well, I'm pretty old, so I started wrestling. I started watching wrestling in the mid '80s with my grandparents watching World of Sport and stuff like that. So that's my earliest memory. Is actually watching World of Sport. Fletcher always moans that I always talk about this, but I remember Kendo Nagasaki taking his mask off, and then my nan saying, "He's not Japanese." That's right. It was probably like the first memory of wrestling, like proper, that I've got. But my dad was mates with an old World of Sports wrestler as well called Tony Walsh.
Okay.
yeah, so he used to sort of he used to sort of like get us into like the European Rampage shows and shit like that at WWF. But yeah, World of Sport, and then got really into WCW because TV, where like it sounds really weird. TV in the late 80s and early 90s was sort of regional. So I grew up in Coventry, so it was its own. It would have been different TV to what it is in Derby and Nottingham here. It was central, so it was his own thing. And they used to show WCW Worldwide, which used to be on like at 3 o'clock in the morning and like on like Saturday afternoons. So that was like my sort of like main introduction to it. And then then it just exploded in the early 90s. And then I was just really into like, I fucking love Sting. It's pretty boring stock answers from a 45-year-old man, to be honest. But yeah, really like really into Sting, Ric Flair. Got really into the Undertaker when I started watching WWF, and then got like really into Cactus Jack and stuff after that through WCW. But yeah, that's the long answer.
So kind of like you're on your journey through wrestling, you kind of swerved off with Cactus Jack, and did he introduce you into the hardcore style?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because it was like old wrestling magazines, and then obviously a bit later, you got like Power Slam magazines, and obviously in the 90s you had like FMW and stuff like that. So as I got a bit older, and you see about ECW and things, that was just that sort of started. So yeah, fucking hell, yeah, because I'm pretty old. So yeah, sort of like late 90s sort of ECW sort of stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I completely forgot what you asked me.
Well, it's kind of moving on to my next question anyway. Yeah. Like, so obviously you're one of the founders of KCW, one of the bookers. You pretty much run it like Paul Heyman style, where you're just running the commentary, the backstage work, the scene, this, that. You're everywhere. Every time I'm in the audience, like, just see you zipping around.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. DIY. We do everything.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So when you were sitting down, what made you want to start your own company, and why specifically a deathmatch company?
Well, I've been involved in wrestling probably for about 10 years now. Before that, as a musician, in a reasonably successful punk band, and then I stopped doing that. And then I got into wrestling. It's probably about 10 years ago. So I was like 36, 37 when I first started. But I got sort of a history of being sort of quite a confrontational frontman in the bands and stuff that I used to do. So I just got into there was a local show, Hope, that used to run at the Polish Club in Derby, which at one point was an offshoot House of Pain in Nottingham. And we went to see, I just started going to shows to that. And I thought just like I never really realized you could do something like wrestling at a local level, because this was sort of on the tail end, at the start of sort of like a little bit of a British revolution, if you like, when people people started opening wrestling schools and stuff like that, proper ones, and it wasn't just like Butlin shows with UK Undertaker and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just I'd never really thought about doing it until I saw it, and I've always been into wrestling. But yeah, I just thought, basically, I asked the guy that was running the company if I could have a go at doing some bits. He knew me from what I was doing with my old bands and stuff. And I went and I trained for a few months with a few people, started as a manager. But I had like a handful of matches, and like half of them were fucking terrible. But from there, I became the ring announcer and got into commentary. So that's sort of like how I started, really. And then I started like I say, started local. At one point, I was doing shows like every weekend, which was cool. But I don't want to. But I started doing what I'm doing now because I can't do that, and I don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, I was doing family shows all over, just for any kind of experience that I could for like a good sort of like 3 or 4 years, and then through working for Hope, I ended up meeting Dutch, who runs Fight Factory in Lincoln, and then I started working for those guys because I started doing over 18 stuff, and I was basically doing the same sort of hosting as I'm doing now. But in an over 18s environment, it's a lot easier for me to do it, and I'm a lot more comfortable. So I went over and started doing stuff for them, and then that led me to work for BWR. They work out sort of like Cleethorpes. And I worked for those guys for a couple of years, and then we ended up doing the storyline with Rise, where I ended up getting like a year's worth of story doing stuff with Rise, and then I met everyone. I met like Joe and everyone. I got into the deathmatch sort of side of things, and I just really liked it. It's a similar sort of thing to seeing how Rise is run and things like that, and like it's a similar sort of vibe to what I used to do with bands and things like that. So yeah, that's it really. And I got to a point where I basically I can't really travel or anything like that anymore. So it's essentially gathering everyone that I used to work with that were my mates over the past sort of like 10 years and bringing them to me so that I haven't got to go anywhere else, and I'm only doing like five shows a year. But yeah, like the deathmatch side of thing, I've always liked it. But then, like I say, I was lucky enough to have a year or so with Rise, where it was mainly deathmatch stuff I was doing. But I was doing that all with Joe and Darko, Michael Caden, and people that were all on the Kumite roster now. And again, that's sort of it really. I wanted to do. It was going to be the first show was at one point we weren't sure if it was going to be a one-off, because we did a no-ring show at Pop World in Derby.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't quite. They thought they knew what. I think they thought they knew what was going to happen, but when there was people smashing shopping trolleys into the bar and shit, they weren't best pleased with us. So yeah. But we enjoyed it, so we carried on and we did a second show, but that was at a place that was even smaller. That was at like in the back room of a pub. That one's actually on IWTV, Cold November Pain, but that was fucking mad and like crazy, just crazy dangerous as well.
Yeah.
And then we tried to move on to we booked some more shows in Derby, but they ended up basically getting pulled by the police. And then we looked at putting on shows in Nottingham. And at one point we were going to do a show at a venue, and it got basically right up until like the week before the show, they pulled it. And then basically every time we tried, we can't go to Nottingham basically is the short answer.
Which I'm gutted about because it's right on my doorstep, so I have to travel to Derby, but it's worth it, you know.
Yeah. So during the situation with the having the shows in Nottingham cancelled and whatnot, I had a bit of time out, and while I was away, Fletch, the other guy that runs everything with me, he'd spoken to a different venue, which was Vine's Bar, where we run all the time now. Luckily, they're old friends of his. They knew that we'd bring money in. They don't do anything on a Sunday. So for the first one, it was like, why the fuck not? It's not going to, they're not losing out. But it kicked off quite quickly. We did the first show basically under a different name. Everybody knew it was us, and it was really fucking obvious because it had like Alex Cologne on the poster, and everything was pink. But yeah, we right up until like 2 days before the actual show, we never actually admitted that it was us. And then by the time that we did, it was far too late for the police or the council to do anything about it. So the first half of the show, it evolved into what it is now, because the first half of the show was literally a decoy. to put on. Well, the council or the police turned up, and it was just basically people like a different set of matches, which did happen. They popped in, saw that everything was fine, nobody was killing each other, and then they went, and then we told everyone that it was actually Kumite, and we did a load of death matches.
I was there at that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah. So, and then that's done really well at Vines. It got really popular. Loads of, I'd say like 75% of the crowd aren't from Derby, because there's not really much happens in Derby. Which again is why we kind of wanted to stay here, because like, it's dead central, and it's dead cheap. People enjoy how cheap it is. Like, it's like £2.50, £3 a pint at like Vines Bar, so which is good, but also by the time we finish, everybody else is shit faced because they've all been drinking like £3 cider since lunchtime. But yeah, so, and then this year we moved, we started early. We've got a new venue because the council and the police realised that we're not actually murdering people, and it is still just wrestling, and it's just, so we've been pretty much left alone now because they know that it's all good. It's all good. So we did our first 2 shows at our new venue at the start of the year. We also did. In fact, we did a gig at the start of the year, but the police did come to that to check out if we were doing anything like that, if we were going to try and do a sneaky no ring, but we wouldn't ever do anything like that.
Yeah, it was just more crowd surfing. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it, and that's where we are now, and we're sort of like halfway through the year, about to go back to Vines. It's everything's gone incredibly well so far this year, just as far as like. We had 3 of the guys over in WrestleMania week, like Lunix and Clint and Danny Darko, all doing a great job. But yeah, it's great. That's that, and then now we're here. Here we are.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm coming to the next show, which is Beef.
It is.
And do you want to kind of tell the people listening and watching on YouTube like what to expect if they were to come to the next show?
Well, you can't. In all honesty, I can't tell you what to expect, because literally, I asked my mate about this the other day, and he said you can't explain what it is until you've actually seen it. It's a bit of like a whirlwind situation. I mean, if it's perfectly safe, don't worry about that. If you want to get, you can get out of the way. But most of the people want to be right in the thick of it. But it's what we really, really pride ourselves on is the fact that, like I say, it's that there's 75% of the people aren't even from Derby, but they travel around. The deathmatch community in the UK is great. I mean, there isn't really a deathmatch scene. Well, there wasn't really much of a deathmatch scene other than Rise until we started doing it, really. I mean, TNT did the odd bit, and they're sort of a bit more hardcore. They're doing like more deathmatch stuff now, but I'm talking about sort of 5-6 years ago sort of thing. But yeah, so Rise were the only sort of place that was doing what we were doing. What we're doing. Rise is a very similar sort of thing, but it's completely different. And again, that's only the same if you've ever been to Rise or you've been to Kumite. It's very similar to going to Rise, but it's totally different to going to Rise. But it's all the same people in the crowd. Yeah, which is the main thing. So I'm really happy that like there's sort of like a little bit of a community's evolved out of it all. But yeah, it's just great, and it means. I mean, people buy tickets, so it just means we can carry on doing it, and we've been managing to do it. This is the 3rd year now, and we've got, we do it on TV. We get it. I get sometimes I mean, I don't think it really bothers Fletch that much, but me, sometimes I get quite bad, like imposter syndrome with some of the people that get in touch with us and shit. I'm like, why the fuck is this guy messaging? But yeah, it's all good. But I'm a bit, that goes down to just me, really. So,
well, coming from a fan that's obviously like been following since the start, all the diehard fans can see the progression in them 3 years that this company's gone from. Even with all the police troubles and the council, like you mentioned, like it's still going strong. And to say like you are a new and upcoming deathmatch company, how does it feel when like you get yeses from people overseas saying, yeah, we'll come over and wrestle for you? And because I know you've had Callum Butcher from Australia, you've had a couple of people from the States, Alex Colon is one of them. So how is it when like, does your mind just explode with like, oh my God, I've got this guy coming to wrestle at my little show? Like, wow. How does it feel?
Yeah, no, we're not really like that. Although it sounds really like we're quite sort of grounded in it. I mean, like I've been, like I said, I was involved in music for a long time, so I never sort of get like sort of starstruck, if you like. It's more if it's people sort of commenting after like as about the actual product, brother, if you like. So, but yeah, it's. I mean. Anyone's going to do a wrestling job if they tell them that if they know that they're going to get paid in the nicest possible way. But yeah, you got to. That's the main thing, is to not let it get ahead of you and stuff like that, because it is just still business, brother, at the end of the day. So, but you know, it is again, it is wrestling, and it is like essentially organizing pretend fights, but it is still, you know, you know, it's all cool.
Yeah. But no, yeah, so what's like the future vision for KCW? So what do you want to like at the end of everything that you've like achieved as a business? What is like the end product? What do you want to go out with?
I mean, I don't really know. I think we'll just keep going until it's. But essentially, I'll do anything until it stops being fun, and then I'll just outright stop doing it. So that's probably it. I mean, carry on doing it while it's fun. I mean, we didn't think it'd get like. We didn't think it'd get as far as it did, and we didn't think it'd get as each thing that happens. We kind of don't expect it, so it makes it better. If you come in with quite a not a negative attitude, but if you're not expecting anything, then literally anything that happens is a bonus. And literally anything that happens is a bonus, which I know is quite a negative way to look at it. But so, and also never believe anything until you see it. I've been in, you know, and you know, there's a lot that I've been in touring bands and shit for a long time again. So it's yeah, we're quite lucky. Fletch is very sensible. I'm like, I want to do this, and he'll say this will cost that much money, or like blah blah blah. So that's the good thing. We like together we create one decent human.
No, it's been an absolute like pleasure watching this company. Each event has been fantastic, and I know the last one we had was a 10-match card, and it was the longest one, and it was absolutely insane, fun day out. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're never doing that many matches on a card ever again, but we managed to bash out like 6 matches in an hour, which is madness. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's just the more, if people are going to keep coming, we'll keep doing it, and then as soon, you know, until we stop wanting to do it anymore. But the plan of the future is we've got obviously I can't tell you any of our actual plans, but yeah, we just going to keep going. I'm loving the fact that Lou has been wearing the belt all over TV, and it, you know, Lou's been representing us really well this year. The guys everyone that went over to America and ever does go over to America, you know, Darko, Clint, Joe, anyone, that's the main thing that, you know, we want, is for people to be able to have a platform so they can go and do shit like that. And then if the next stage now in the future is to get the next lot up to that. So we're getting to see like Tomby and Alton Thorne and Antonio Gonzalez on WrestleMania week shows. So yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, that's sorry. That's the future. The future plan is we'll just keep doing it until we don't want to do it anymore.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. No, well, I know for sure I'm definitely looking forward to the future. And yeah, people listening, if you don't believe me or Matt, just get down to a show and
man.
Yeah.
The tickets, half the tickets are gone for the next show already. So if you do want to get a ticket for Beef, you need to get in there because there's only like 50 tickets left. So that's definitely going to sell out. But it's been mad. I'm doing sold out shows, but it's just like it's just not taking it for granted and not getting too complacent is the main thing. But yeah, but if anybody wants to go to our Instagram and buy tickets, by the link, that'd be amazing.
Awesome. Well, that's all my questions done. Back to Adam.
Yeah, no, well, guys, it's been great having you on, Matt. And obviously, hopefully, a lot of people watching and listening to this know a bit more about you guys now. So yeah, if that's that show, I mean, look, this isn't going out till Friday. We're recording this sort of earlier in the week. The tickets might be sold out by the time this goes out, but if they're not, I'll put the link in the description. So
yeah,
if you're lucky enough to get one on Friday, if they're still available, then absolutely go and get yourself one and get down. It should be a good fun.
Yeah, man. And it's the show's called Beef, so every single one of the matches, I think bar one, is a grudge match. So we haven't been outside for a while, so let's just say well, that's it. Let's leave it at that. We haven't been outside for a while, so the sun gets to us. It makes us a bit mad.
If you have a bit of good weather and that, it'd be a great day out for people.
Yeah, wicked.
Sweet. Well, look, thank you for coming on today, Matt. Thank you everyone for listening, watching. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that sort of good stuff, and we will catch you all next week. Bye.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you for having me on.